What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in this one we're going to be talking about SPRT, ANY, as well as BBIG. So these are the main focuses right now, as the rest of the market is selling off and we're seeing a lot of red and volatility in the market. As you can see here, smart money was not buying that dip we saw today, and I do expect some more red to come in the coming weeks leading into the FOMC as well as quad witching. So make sure you're hedged accordingly and always be careful out there. All right, so first up is SPRT, up 20% on the day. Nice little pump after hours as well. Very bullish close. And we saw this one even touch 25.45 before selling off a little bit after hours. But I'm very bullish on this one leading into 9.10, and we'll see if this continues to pump. Ideally, we see this head back to $30 after it just filled that gap below that we've been talking about for a couple weeks now. And congrats if you bought this dip down near the 18 area. You're up pretty nice right now. So here is the updated short interest from Ortex here, and estimated is at a new record level of 82.1% of free float. Utilization's at 95.92%. SPRT is currently up 3% in the pre-market. So this was from 9 hours ago, and we saw a very nice pump today. So I've been scaling in on this recent dip, and it did get a bit, oversold there when it touched 17 and 18. You really didn't want to see it go much lower than that, but we fully filled the gap, and now I want to see more volume and people piling into this one. So now let's check out the trading view chart. All right, now looking at SPRT on the 45-minute chart, we can see that the gap has been fully filled. Now this is a note from yesterday's video. Gap was fully filled, and if you wanted to take an entry, the risk to reward was much better, even though it was still a risky play. Any of these meme stocks are risky. But we saw it bounce off the 20-day there and actually head back up and pump very nicely. So the first support level is 20.05 now, then 16.94. Then you have your resistance at 24.77 and 26.38. Even though after hours we saw this blow by 24.77 briefly. So basically we knew, we had mentioned in the videos that this was going to come down to 20, maybe even less, and shake some people out. And I'm sure it did when it hit 17, but that was the time to buy. So, that's where I was adding some shares and building out the position a bit more leading into this event, and I'm definitely going to be taking profits on this one. Now, I'm not sure if it's ever going to go back and touch this 59 range. That would be, awesome. But the short interest is increasing. This could definitely pump again. My first price target where I want this to go is 30, and then, we'll see how that goes. But it's not a bad idea to sell premium on these types of plays when the IV pumps up, if you think that the move is done. Second up is BBIG, and this one did very well this morning and actually pumped back to that $12 wick that we had been talking about, but then sold off. We saw a lot of profit taking happen, but still up overall on the day and holding $10 very well. Now, it actually did come down and fill a gap we created, which, to me is a good thing. Now we can anticipate to head higher. So basically, I do believe this pumped because Vinco Ventures announced their 2021 annual proxy. And basically, Vinco Ventures, a leader in selective acquisitions, is leveraging new market opportunities by utilizing the BIG strategy, buy, innovate, grow. And they announced that their annual proxy details provides a corporate update in a new investor presentation. So here's the presentation. This will be linked below. This basically discusses the reverse merger with Vinco Ventures and Lemotif. Goes into the shares to be issued, the cash, the debt, all of the shares outstanding, warrants, and more information on all of that. Now that's if you are long-term on this. Most of us are playing this just for the pop and the potential squeeze that could happen to BBIG. A little bit more information on, Lemotif and, Vinco Ventures. If you guys wanted to read through that, here is the team. Basically, these are Vinco Ventures CEO and COO, and then this is the CEO of Lemotif. They will all be coming together, and this will be a new ticker, and it'll be ticker symbol TYDE, and this will be a successful spin-off reverse merger. So there'll be a publicly traded company under that new ticker. Talks about the blockchain, NFTs, going platinum, and key follow-ups. But the main reason I want to bring this up was for these key dates right here, and this explains why there's so much call flow around September and October. Basically, we're sitting here at the preliminary proxy. Then you have the September 15th record date for proxy, mailing date for proxy September 22nd, and then October 14th is a shareholders meeting, which is where I think we're going to get a lot of action And then the record date for the Tide spinoff dividend is October 15th. And before we get into the chart, this is from Vortex again. Short interest update estimate is at a new record level of 34.88% of free float, utilizations at 99.67%. This was pre-market obviously, and BBIG was up. So this is, a lot of short interest on this stock, making it a huge potential squeeze candidate. So we'll definitely see how that goes. I really like that BBIG is hanging around the $10 range, and people are still very much interested in this one. And with all of those upcoming dates, I think those are bullish catalysts that could potentially push us higher. All right, now looking at BBIG on the 3-minute chart here, here's the wick I was talking about from, last week or 2 weeks ago that we have been targeting again. It pumped there, sold off hard, and we were waiting for that retest of that wick, and we got it this morning. This did gap up a little bit, and we retested that before selling off, retested again, and then sold off. We actually filled this mini gap down below after hours, which is something I like to see. Now we can see, a bounce hopefully. It closed after hours, I believe it closed over $10 after filling that gap. I still think this looks good, and there's a lot of open interest on these contracts, and we have a lot of upcoming dates and catalysts for this stock. So if we remember the dates we were talking about, so 9/15 is a key date, and now you can see the open interest here on these 9/17 contracts, as well as 10/15 being another key date, and that has a lot of open interest as well. So January just gives people more time, but all of these have a lot of open interest, 61% call flow, and I don't think this play is over. Super high short interest, and a lot of people are very interested in it. And last up, we just have a quick update on ticker symbol ANY. So we saw this gap down on a share warrant offering, and that was a huge hit to the stock after it pumped to $12. Now, this is typically an overreaction, so we let it sell off a little bit. I personally bought the dip. I announced it in the Patreon, and then we saw this break out of the downtrend and pump actually a nice little bit today. It appears to be going for this gap fill. So once it crosses 770, you can expect this thing to go all the way to 860. What happens after that, I'm not sure. We could head our way back to $12, but we just have to wait and see. The call flow is 77%. There's your support and resistances. We're really looking for this one to break 736 and enter that gap at 770. This was a note from the other day. I felt like it was a good dip buying opportunity, and it paid off. So it did take a little bit of profits, but still holding a little bit of ANY. So we'll see how that goes. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video and the quick update on these 3 stocks. Let me know what you guys are watching in the comment section below. Feel free to check out the free Discord and the Patreon, and have a good one.